One of my all-time favorite people is sitting in the studio with me, Donna Fargo. Donna, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Ralph Emmer. It's really nice to see you again. You're one of my favorite people, too.
We're being so formal.
I know it.
Here's Donna Fargo. Thank you, Ralph Emery. Want my first name?
It is good to see you.
You remember my first name?
What do you mean, do I remember your first name?
What is my
What did I call you, Roy?
No, my first name is Walter.
No, you never told me your first name.
Really? What's your middle name?
I'm not going to tell you.
Donna Marie?
No, Lisa.
Donna Lisa?
Yeah.
Donna Lisa. Donna Lisa. Men have named you. How you getting along?
Oh, I'm doing great. Are you?
I'm doing terrifically well, but the show's not about me. They don't care how I'm doing. They want to know how you're doing.
Well, I'd rather talk about you. I'm doing fine. I'm just really doing well.
I remember on one of these shows we did one time, you may be the only act to ever do it. You turned it around and you interviewed me. Do you remember that?
And I did an impersonation of you. But now don't ask me to do it again because I worked on that thing all day, and it was just below average.
I thought it was rather good.
Well, thank you.
When you came up with this stage name, Donna Fargo, did it have anything to do with Wells Fargo? I mean, was it based on that?
No, there was a guy standing around. And I'm sorry, I don't know his name, but he was a friend of the people that were there, and he said, they said, we've got to pick a name today. We want to put this record out, and da-da-da, and we don't like your name, and nobody can pronounce it, and you've got to change. He said, I knew a lovely lady named Donna Fargo. She was from New Mexico or somewhere, and that ought to be your name. So we picked it just like that.
Did you ever meet?
Never met her, and I've never seen the guy since. I wish I knew who he was.
Two ships passing in the night, and he named you.
Really. He was a friend of the other guys that were with us, and I never knew his name.
And he named you.
And he named me.
Boy, if he had copyrighted that, look at the money he could have made.
Really?
No, you can't copyright a name, though, can you?
No, you can't.
Okay. The last time you were on this program, Donna, we talked about your health extensively, because you have, from time to time, had a bout with what, muscular dystrophy?
Multiple sclerosis.
I'm sorry, multiple
It's hard to
sclerosis.
say. Yes.
And I think it first manifested itself when your side became paralyzed.
Yeah. Actually, I had numbness in the left side in 76, and it was a real light thing, not diagnosed in. In June of 78, I was diagnosed as having MS, and I had a second attack the symptoms were a little more serious and involved, and that's the way they diagnose it. Have
you arrested the problem?
Well, it goes into remission, or parts of it go into remission, Ralph, and I'm back to a regular schedule on the road now and doing really well. I think it's under control now, put it that way.
That's going to be interesting to other people who have the problem.
Yeah.
How do you get it under control?
Well, I'm not sure I got it under control. I think the nature of the disease is so weird. It'll come in attacks, and then it'll go into a remission and leave you with some residual sometime, and other times you won't have any problem. And then it'll sort of leave you there until it attacks again, and they don't know what causes the attacks and what causes it to lay off. But some things that I have been doing that I like to think have been good for me. I've been trying to stay on a diet, except when I work down at Warren Brothers and they keep handing me Cokes. But I've tried to be on a real strict diet of basically fruits and vegetables and raw foods mostly, and not too much red meat, and just really a good healthy diet. No sugar and no white flour, except sometimes when I get weak. And now I've been reading a lot, like reading good nutrition books and reading a lot, and building myself spiritually so I can fight the fear of it. And I think the way to do that is to do it with building your faith. And that takes study, in the Bible and real good books about it.
Does it make you tired?
Yeah, it's very fatiguing. But I found that on the road and working, like when I got out of the hospital, I thought, man, I'll never be able to go back to work because I felt so bad. But then I just got back into it easily, and people just kept kind of pulling me back into it. And so I went back gradually, and I'm so thankful that I did, because I think that there's a time mentally when you can sort of turn off yourself. But I'm glad that I didn't, because I think that's when you really start to go downhill.
Now, I always like to think that Donna wrote the next song for me.
Well, I did.
But she really wrote it for her husband.
Well, I wrote for you and him both.
Stan Silver, who is her husband, has a beard up to his eyeballs.
Somebody,
Mine's not quite that high.
somebody looked at him the night and said, "Where's your face?"
The song is Funny Face, which I understand when you do it on stage, though. You transpose that to Fuzzy Face.
Every now and then, if I find a fuzzy-faced guy in the audience, I do.
And you go out into the audience
Yeah.
and tickle his chin or something.
Yeah, a little
like.
bit. I don't get too fresh, though.
Huh?
Uh-uh.
Did that ever backfire on you?
I'm kind of bashful.
Did that ever backfire on you?
No, never. I don't. No, I'm not. Yeah.
Huh?
Nuh-uh.
Okay. All right. Did you really write this song for Stan?
Yeah. Well, he called me funny face, see, and I called him fuzzy face.
I see.
So.
Yeah, I guess you felt like funny would fit more people than fuzzy.
Yeah, and I found that people will come up to me and tell me that their kid's nickname is Funny Face, or their husband's nickname. So there's sort of a universal love language out there, Ralph.
That's a cute idea. Donna, you're not in Nashville very much anymore.
I'm not. You know, we've been out just about all year. When we do come back, it's to record and just to kind of, get the office shaped up.
In talking to Stan, I understand that because of your problem with multiple sclerosis, that you work a while and then you check in somewhere and rest a while and not come home, but go from the resting point to the next date.
Yeah. And the way the dates have fallen this year, it's worked really well to do that. Instead of rushing home for a day or two, it's just easier to stay out and just kind of hang out, wherever we are in between 2 points.
I think you may have answered this earlier. Do they know what causes
No.
the problem?
There's no cause or cure, but I do think that, there are things that people can do, and that's the diet and building a faith and working and exercising is really good for you to the point that you can. I do that.
Has this problem ever caused you to think about quitting?
The business?
Mm-hmm.
It did when I was in the hospital for that month. I didn't know if I would be able I didn't know if I'd be able to get back in the business, but when the symptoms started to lighten up and I started to feel better, then I didn't question that. I wouldn't get out of the business unless I had to, because it means so much to me.
When were you in the hospital for that month?
June of 78, I think.
So you've had the problem for how long now?
Well, I had my first attack in 76, but it wasn't diagnosed then. It was diagnosed in June of 78.
Uh-huh. Well, I want to say this. You look great. You don't look
Thanks.
like you've had a sick day in your life.
Oh, thank you. I'm doing real well. I feel pretty good, and
105 pounds?
that's the best I might be pushing is 107 now. I'm going to have to work on that.
How tall are you, Don?
I don't know.
Huh?
I really don't know. I'm
You
5'2" or 3 or 4.
Oh, come on.
I swear I don't know.
Everybody knows how tall
I do
they
not
are.
know how tall I am. That's really dumb, but I don't. I'll have to get a measuring stick one of these days and take my hat off and.
I mean, don't you have physical checkups? Don't you?
Not when I can avoid it.
I mean, they always, first thing they do at a physical is weigh you and take your height.
I guess. I never look at your charts, though.
You don't want to know how tall you are.
I don't care. Who cares how tall I am?
I do. I want to know how tall you are.
I'm going to find out and write you a letter.
I wish you would.
Okay. How tall are you?
5'11 and a half.
All right. See there, right down to the... I'm just...
That's
Go
because
ahead.
I pay attention when I get a physical. I'm also overweight.
No, you're not. You
Yeah.
look great.
Well, I should drop off a few more pounds.
Well,
Now then, I want to talk about what we were talking about off the air.
What were we
this
talking
book.
about? Oh.
Because one of the things I find in some of my travels, although mine aren't as many as yours, I find people who ask me about stars, and a lot of times they have the information all screwed up, I mean, there have been rumors that were unbelievable about the stars in this business. And you tell them about this book you received.
Oh, somebody just sent me a reprint from a book that said I was 5'8", and I'm not quite that tall. Sometimes I wish I were, then I could eat more, so I could grow up instead of out. But anyway, they said, let's see, that I weighed 116.
We've established you weigh 105.
Yeah, let's see, they spelled my name wrong.
Said you drank a lot?
Said I drank moderately. I never had a drink in my life. There's several things on there. It was just funny how they miss it on everyone. But then I don't care. I mean, it's okay. Really.
But where do you suppose they got their
I
information?
don't know. I wonder about that. They spelled my real name wrong. They spelled it Vaughan.
Yeah, your name is Yvonne,
Yvonne Vaughn.
Vaughn.
Yeah.
Which is hard to say.
Yeah, it is. That's why we changed it.
Yvonne Lisa?
No, Donna Lisa. Not going to tell you my real middle
Yvonne
name.
something Vaughn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Something. So I've read some funny things about you too, Ralph.
Have you really?
Yeah, boy, they said you were a real lover and all this stuff. And
Well, I'm not going to tell them if you won't. But that's sometimes even in print,
yeah.
the information is wrong.
Yeah. Oh, it's very believable too. If you read something, it just
Yeah.
seems like it ought to be right.
Would you like to tell me about a song called Song to Celebrate Life?
Yeah, that's the flip side of the new single Giacomo, and it's a song that I wrote, and it's a song about celebrating life, just that kind of feel.
A happy song? I haven't heard
Yeah.
this. I'm taking this
Yeah.
on faith.
No, it's a happy song. You know, like that we all ought to celebrate living and life. And
I mean, I'm glad to be alive, that
yes,
sort of thing.
Yes.
You made a record several years ago, Donna, that I always liked very much. Maybe all people who have an old love buried back in their memory can identify with this song. But I had a hot romance one time.
Yeah. Tell me about it, Ralph.
And she told me she loved me.
Oh,
And one day
how
she told me
sweet.
she didn't.
Oh.
No, she never did tell me she didn't. She just told me she was going to marry somebody else. I guess that
You
was.
put two and two together.
I guess that was her way of telling me
I guess it was.
it was over.
Yeah.
Anyway, the song is called That Was Yesterday. Are you revealing yourself in this song?
Oh, I'm revealing a little
I
bit of
reveal-
everybody.
huh?
And yeah, everybody's felt like that.
I mean, you have an old romance that
Oh, of course, everybody has
crops up every
one
once
or
in a while?
two or three or four, you know, that you look back on and you think, wonder how it might have been and all that. And sometimes you're glad it didn't, but you wanted to tell them about it and all that. And, you know,
Do you know what happened to some of your old boyfriends that you were serious about? Did you
No, I've
ever
never kept
bother
up with
Did you ever
them.
bother to find out?
now, have you ever kept up with your girlfriends?
Well, you're not supposed to ask me. That's not the way we play.
Well, see, I don't go back home much, and I don't go back in that area, so I don't.
Mount Airy would be the locale for
Yeah.
Mount Airy, North Carolina. Would be
Right.
where the old boyfriend is.
Yeah, and where I went to school, like High Point.
How old were you when you left Mount Airy?
Well, I went to college, you know, at High Point, and as soon as the day after I graduated, I went to California. So I was 20 or 21.
Mm-hmm. What was his name?
Oh, I'm not going to tell you things like that. Listen to him.
When you were a teenager,
Yeah.
did you fall madly in love with somebody? See,
I
it's a
don't-
two-part question.
Yeah.
The point is, did you ever think about getting married
Well,
at a very young age?
not. Yeah, I guess I did. But my father told me. I said when I got out of high school, I said, I don't know what to do, Daddy. I don't know what to do. He said, okay. I said, I'd kind of like to go to college. He said, well, I'll send you to college if you won't get married, so it won't be a bad investment. So I went to
I
college.
think
and,
I would have liked him. He's a very practical man.
yeah, he's neat. So I had crushes on guys, you know, and I got, you know, but I wasn't ready to marry him.
Where were you born, Donna?
I grew up in Mount Airy, North Carolina.
Born there?
Yep, taught school in California. Now I'm in Nashville, Tennessee.
You born out in the country?
Yes, about 10 miles out of town.
Born in a farmhouse?
Yeah, sort of. Well, it was a brick house. I don't know if it's a farmhouse.
It was out in the country. It was a farmhouse, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I was born in a farmhouse.
Were you?
Yeah. Too far to go to the hospital.
Oh, no. Wait. Yeah, I was born. Okay. Yeah, I was born in the house. Now I remember.
How do you remember that? You were very young at the time.
Very young. In fact, they were going to put me back for 4 or 5 days. They didn't know whether they were going to keep me or not.
Why?
They told me that story. I don't know.
Why
I
wouldn't
think,
they keep you?
Well, I think I might have cried a little too much or been a nasty kid.
You
or
can't
something.
ship them back.
I know. That's what I told them. I'm glad they didn't.
Donna, we are entering that time of year when there's mistletoe and holly and all that sort of thing. Christmas is not far away. How do you plan to spend Christmas?
We haven't really decided what we're going to do.
Do you go back somewhere, or do you stay in
Sometimes-
Nashville?
Well, sometimes we go to North Carolina or we go to L.A. or we go to, stay home in Nashville. Sometimes we go off in the cold country and find some place that has snow and fireplaces and things like that.
You ski?
No. Do you?
Yes.
Do you?
Yes, I do.
It's too cold to ski,
No,
Ralph.
you wear enough clothes and it doesn't bother you.
Well, I'll watch you.
Huh?
I'll watch
I'd
you.
love for you to come along. The Christmas season, I assume for you, could mean being on the road.
It could mean, yeah.
I
don't-
don't guess any of the acts in Nashville ever actually work on Christmas Day, do they?
Most of the time you don't. We work New Year's Eve. I can't remember where, but I just remember somebody telling me today we were working New Year's Eve.
Do you know the words to Old Lang Syne?
Oh, I got to learn them if I don't, huh?
Well, no,
I think I do.
I've told this story before. I was emceeing a big package show in South Carolina. Loretta Lynn, the Wilburn Brothers, I don't know who else, whole bunch. It was New Year's Eve, and nobody, and I swear, not a soul on the show knew the words to Old Lang Syne. And at the like 10 minutes till midnight, I'm frantically searching for among the acts for somebody to lead the song.
Did you know it?
No, I didn't know it either. Everybody knows shit, old acquaintance. And
Yeah,
then,
B forgot.
So, but
But what's after it?
Yeah, so I got two ladies out of the audience. They said, we know it. So I got them up to sing with all the stars.
That's great.
And they led it, in fact.
That's great.
But if you're going to work New Year's Eve, you ought to know the song.
I will have to learn. I'm glad you reminded me of it.
You like Christmas?
I love Christmas.
I mean, do you get that Christmassy feeling?
Oh, yeah, I start getting it in November.
As
soon as it starts to turn colder, the first flake of snow.
What do you want for Christmas?
Nothing. I really don't want anything.
Do you like surprises?
Love surprises.
Does Stan like to surprise you?
Not too much.
Huh?
No, he likes to, but we sort of go shopping together and sort of get each other what we want, and then we get each other one surprise. And
Do you have a hard time keeping a secret?
not me. I'm a real secret keeper.
Are you a package shaker?
I love secrets. Well, see, what I do is I unwrap the thing and then fix it back, and nobody ever knows it.
Oh, now that's not
It's
fair.
sneaky, I know it. In fact, I remember one time my brother gave me, when I was a little girl, he gave me a really neat present, but he went out and stayed out all night. Well, I was about 8 years old, and I thought, well, it's legally Christmas at 1 minute past midnight, so I'll just sneak in there and see what I got and go back to bed, and then I can sleep late. And he came in on Christmas morning and said, come and open up your present. I said, I know what I got. Let me go back to sleep. Oh, and it broke his heart.
Oh.
And I never did that again. I really learned a lesson about being considerate of others and all that stuff.
My guest is Donna Fargo, who used to be a school teacher, went west to, did you go to college in California?
No, I did after I got out of school in North Carolina.
And
In the summers, I went to USC out there.
back in Mount Airy,
I grew up in Mount Airy. I went to school at High Point.
you were a cheerleader, weren't you?
Yeah. I was a cheerleader in high school and college.
You are very, sometimes you're difficult to interview because you won't brag on yourself.
Well, good.
Weren't you also the homecoming queen?
Oh, Ralph.
Huh?
I was fat.
Huh?
Yeah, I was homecoming queen, May queen, all that stuff.
They don't have fat homecoming queens,
Yeah,
do
they
they?
do. They think you got to be pleasingly plump in the South. That's what they used to say.
I don't know of any fat homecoming queens. What'd you weigh back then?
Oh, I don't know. I just weighed about 115, I guess, but
Now
that's too much. I'm not that tall.
It's only 10 pounds more than you weigh right now.
Well, maybe I weighed 120. I was too fat.
How'd you get to be homecoming queen as a fat girl?
I don't know.
Did-
I guess they didn't have much to choose from.
Now, which high school did you go to?
I went to Mount Airy High School.
Or can you remember a cheer that you used to do when you were a cheerleader?
Give me an M. Give me an H. Give me an S. M-A-H-S. Okay, give me an M. Give me an A. Give me an H. Give me an S. What do you got? Mount Airy High School.
Hey, and they all went, yay!
Yay!
Oh, Donna, do you like jewelry?
I like jewelry, yeah.
You're wearing a lot of it.
I'm not. I just
Yeah.
got a fancy ring, a Ronald McDonald watch.
A Ronald McDonald watch?
Yeah. I did some shows for McDonald, and they gave me a watch.
I would think that you would be a little more sophisticated than a Ronald McDonald watch.
Oh, no. I got a fancy watch, but I don't.
I bet those kids that you used to teach would flip out over that.
It tells good time.
When you when you when you were out in California teaching all those kids,
Yeah.
were you stern?
Was I
Yeah, were you tough?
tough? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. In English, there's too much to teach not to be real strict.
Okay, but you are emotional.
Yeah, I know it.
So could a kid come to you with a story
I'd
about
cry.
not feeling well? I don't feel like getting my English today, Miss Vaughn.
No, I would say, they really had to toe the line in English. If they were late, they came in after school, and they did things that I would have them do, and I just didn't let them get by with anything.
What if
That's
they
not
told
teaching.
you a heartbreaking story?
Well, I'll tell you, I became a counselor for about 6 months. And I wasn't a good counselor at all because I really would cry if they'd come in and tell me some sad story.
Were
And
you a softie?
I was a softie in that respect, but I was a tough teacher. I really was. I think you have to be.
There is an album out by Donna Fargo of gospel music, including such favorites as How Great Thou Art, Amazing Grace, things like that. And Donna, you know what impressed me about the liner notes on the back of the album?
What?
Your knowledge of the Bible.
Oh, well, thank you.
In what you have to say, you keep quoting chapter and verse, or chapters and verses of different places in the Bible. I was not aware that you were that knowledgeable.
Well, these last few years, I've read the New Testament 4 times, and I'm working on the whole Bible now. I'll probably read again before the year's out. I think it's really important to reread, Ralph, because you get something each time, a little more each time.
I'm going to quote you.
Okay.
Because we're going to play Brotherly Love, one of the
Okay.
songs, okay? And you say, I was reminded of John 15:12 that says, this is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you.
Yes.
And frankly, I was impressed.
Well, thank you.
Tell me about writing this song.
We were in Texas for a week at the Fairmont Hotel, and I knew that I had sessions coming up for this album, and I wanted to write a gospel-type song. And so I came up with that. I just went through the Bible and reviewed all the things that I thought related to brotherly love, and I really think that is the commandment that we're given, in the New Testament. It's just to love one another. And thinking of all the lessons in the Bible that I could include in that song, and then I put a melody to it.
And you told me earlier this is the only gospel album you've ever had.
It's the only one. I've been wanting to do that for a long time, Ralph.
It is not on Warner Brothers Records.
No, it's on Songbird. Warner Brothers doesn't have a gospel division, so I was free to do this album with Songbird that is a division of MCA, who used to be ABC.
Now you're making it complicated.
I'll
Just
make
ask
it.
for Donna Fargo and Brotherly Love.
Okay.
That'll take care of it. Donna, you're telling me you're going to be Minnie Mouse?
There's a park opening, Ralph, in Waco, Texas. It's kind of like a Disneyland or Disney World. It's going to be called Texas Country. And they've asked me to be their spokesperson. So we've had a couple of meetings about it, and I think it's going to open in like 83.
You're going to then do all their on-camera advertisements.
I don't quite know what it all entails. I have already done some promos to get sponsors.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure that they'll involve other people too.
Is this going to be a theme park like
Yeah.
Opryland, Disney World, and so many of the others, Six Flags?
Yeah, it's going to be kind of like that. It's going to be a great little place in Waco.
You get to ride all the rides free.
Yeah.
Terrific. Donna, in the past 2 years, we've got a lot of catching up to do. I assume you've done more than just write and sing and travel.
Well, I've been concentrating on my writing, Ralph, for the last couple of years, because when I was in the hospital, I was not very creative, and I didn't feel like writing songs. So the last year, I've really been trying to catch up on my writing. We're working on a new album that'll be out after Christmas, and I've just been traveling all year. There's not much time. I mean, what all do you expect of me? I mean, I'm not Superwoman.
Well,
the road keeps you so busy and writing songs and going to the studio.
Do you ever do anything for fun other than write and sing?
Well, I read a lot and I shop some, And it's fun for me to sit down and do nothing. That's just a treat for me.
I guess what I'm trying to say or ask you is, do you have another interest other than the music business?
If I had time, I would paint.
Do you like politics?
No,
But do you follow what Mr. Reagan is doing
No.
and things like that?
it bores me to tears.
You read the paper?
A
What do
little
you,
bit.
What do you read?
I read the gossip section.
You
No.
like Dear Abby?
I like to keep up with what's happening in the world, but I don't get into it really heavily.
I mean, do you worry about things that other people worry about, like gasoline prices,
Yeah. That bothers me.
inflation?
I get that involved.
Now, I would think.
You know, I'm not a bird brain, but
Okay, all right. I just wondered.
Okay.
If you were a bird brain.
yeah. Thanks a lot.
You know, we had a funny thing happen on this show one time, and I don't
What?
know whether you remember it or not. But you were telling me about your house note,
My what?
your house payment.
Yeah.
And I said, "You're kidding. Do you live like us?" So you got all your house payments made?
Yeah. I don't know about that.
Does Stan take care of that?
He takes care of all the business stuff.
Donna, you used to have a television show, the Donna Fargo show,
Yes,
which I believe you did in Provo, Utah.
that's right.
How many of those shows did you do?
Enough for a year, however many that is. About, what do they do, 26?
26, and then they
Okay.
replay them, and you have 52 weeks.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy doing that?
Oh, I had a good time, yeah.
Can you tell me of any strange things that happened while you did that television show?
Strange things.
Little anecdotes.
Hmm.
Did everything go
We,
all right
You know,
all
we
the
worked
time?
so hard and just went at it so much. We did 4 shows a week. I can't think of anything that
You do-
really make you laugh.
Now, how long was the show?
30 minutes.
How much time did you put into a 30-minute show?
Well, we rehearsed on Mondays and Tuesdays and did 2 shows on Wednesday. And we rehearsed on Thursday and Friday and did 2 shows on Saturday, and we rehearsed on Sunday.
You know, you used to be on Pop Goes the Country with
Yes.
me, and it would take us I did 2 of those a day, and we would work like 4 or 5 hours just during
Yeah.
30 minutes.
I know it. It was really a lot of hard work, and I learned a lot.
But this was always a great revelation to the studio audience who had seen the show on the air, and they'd come in.
Didn't
it
realize,
it wasn't over in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
But I remember you used to have some very big name guests on that show.
Oh yeah, we had really a good time. Had lots of nice people.
Did you
on
do comedy on that show?
it. Yeah, we tried to.
Comedy scare you?
A little bit, yeah. I wish I were funny. You know, I wish I were a comedian and all that. But you know, I'm not. I'm a singer and a writer and try to be an entertainer. And
Did you dance on the show?
Yeah, I tried to dance. I took tap and ballet when I was a little girl, and I thought, oh, I can dance. And you know, when you're trying to learn all these routines and memorize songs and memorize lines and all that stuff, it was really a lot of work.
Did you have dancers on the show?
Yes, we had 4 dancers. They were really good too.
Would they come out and pick you up and
Oh,
sweep you through the air?
Yeah, and we had a lot of fun doing it. And we did, you know, skits, comedy skits. Okay.
Are you going to do any more of that?
What, you mean that show?
Well, not that particular show, but you think you might go back on television in a series at some point in the future?
Oh, maybe someday. Not right away, though.
Did you enjoy television?
I did, yeah.
I suppose that your experience as a teacher, being strict and that sort of thing, you have to have a certain amount of discipline to teach every day, don't you?
Yeah, you do.
Has this sort of discipline helped you in your music career?
It really has. Like before a show, I always do vocal exercises so that it helps your
Really?
voice. Yeah, and I do them every show. I mean, I've really been strict with myself about that. And I also do exercises, physical exercises, and I have this whole routine that I go through. And
You lift weights?
no,
You jog?
I don't want muscles.
You jog?
Well, on the bus, they keep me in the back of the bus most of the time now.
What kind of vocal exercises do you
Oh,
do?
I just do a set of about 10 that kind of take you 2 ranges and or 2 keys
I
and
mean, would you do
yeah, something like that.
Let me hear you.
Hmm.
How long do you do this?
It takes about 30 minutes.
Okay, so let's say you're going to go on at 8:30 in the evening.
You do it an hour before the show
I
sometimes.
see.
So while I'm getting ready for the show, I'm putting on my makeup, I'm doing these exercises. And when I'm writing songs, I try to, work long enough to get into the song, so I'm pretty disciplined with that. I guess it
I
helped
mean,
me
work
some.
long enough to get into the song.
Well, sometimes you give up on a song before you really get started, and you don't give it a chance. You'll have a good idea, and you need to just get in there and dig a little bit.
Takes concentration.
It does.
Donna, it's a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you, Ralph. It's really been nice seeing you again.